All right. Well, hope the audio is good.
Mic check.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. My destination.
Thing 2 says the sound is okay.
All right. We
Yay.
even got a like. Isn't that great? All right. All right. So it's nice to make sure that we're doing okay on sound. So welcome to episode 103 of Genius Take the Wheel. I am Dr. Evil Genius. Hey, and there's Mrs. Evil. She's in the passenger seat.
I'm here, I swear.
I'm trying to get out of her way.
I'm here.
We even brought out the microphones too, to make sure that the audio is good. And so, for those who, may be unaware of, what I do for a living, I am a long-time professional coach. I'm a long-time professional coach in New York City, and
When we get to a red light, if we could just change the position of your mic.
that's too close.
Yeah. It's thing 2 says it sounds dry and scratchy.
I mean, don't I always sound like that? It's dry and scratchy.
I have it on my seatbelt.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's a little bit better. You guys let us know in the comments. But I've been a coach for a really long time, and my focus used to be mainly on strength training with a little bit of hypertrophy. And I have focused more on hypertrophy as I've, kind of learned more about how to be more effective, especially when it comes to what the science says about hypertrophy. Like, I'm really, well versed on maximum strength, and I have a lot of success under my belt when it comes to getting strong for myself and helping my clients over the years get stronger, all of them getting much stronger than they ever anticipated being. So those who know me, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, the audio is strong. Let's swap mics for a second. Just in case.
All right, let's see.
Because your voice is stronger than mine. But that was a bad raspy.
Oh, well, we'll see. We're switching mics here. There are tons of really good exercise scientists who are among the best in the field, one of them being Dr. Mike Israetel. And Dr. Mike is probably the most respected exercise scientist out there. I know that there are others that people give a lot of respect to, but I think that Dr. Mike is really, he has other guys that he works with and, does studies with and, gleans, information from meta-analysis of aggregate data that comes out from, years and years of studies to figure out how to grow the most muscle safely and effectively. And so I learned a lot from Dr. Mike over the years, and I discovered him about 2 years ago. And so a lot of the principles I had already known, but then, the devil's in the details. We understand that when it comes to human movement, the difference between being effective and getting injured could be millimeters. So in understanding that, there are so many different studies suggesting this and suggesting that. If you read one study a certain way, then you can justify anabolic androgenic agents being safe to use if you try to read a study a certain way. You could try to make studies say anything. But one of the things that I thought that was super interesting is the thought that people who train super seriously, we're not talking about your weekend warriors that, put on a plate and a half on the bench, a couple of times, and they're not like really super serious about what they're doing. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about those people who are super serious. And you guys know I train pretty heavily, sometimes multiple times a day. And so, he put out a video, and I did link it in the description down below, so guys definitely go check it out. But he is insinuating that once a year we should take a whole year off.
Put it even lower. It's still sounding raspy.
Let me see this. Let me see. Let's try this. Okay.
Just fixing the mic, guys.
Yeah, just checking out, the mic and making sure that it's working the way we want it to work.
You're an idiot, man. Oh my god, you're a fucking idiot.
Stop brushing against the light. Good God. Alright, see if we can get the mics to work a little bit better. If you have a disability that prevents you from walking properly, you should be the last person trying to cross in front of a car without having the light. You should be the last person doing that. Oh, goodness. Anyway, yeah, we're trying to get the audio right here with the microphones, guys. Sorry. What's up, Talia? Wow, I think I recognize that name. I think we might have seen you once before.
Hello.
If I'm not mistaken, you might have been preparing for some sort of exam at school, if my memory serves me correctly. I could be wrong. But anyway, let me know if the audio sounds crappy. Anyway, so Dr. Mike was saying that people who train really, really heavily. Hey, we got TIJ in the building.
Hey,
wow. You said audio was good. Okay, good.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, maybe I just needed to plug and unplug the DJI.
It's usually the case.
Cool to have you here, man. So Dr. Mike Israetel, again, for that guys that are just kind of joining the stream, probably one of the most intelligent minds in the bodybuilding field. The guy has been a successful powerlifter in the past, regional or national level bodybuilder, and he does compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitively. Okay, am I going to the gym? A kind of a gym, I guess, is the gym for professional baseball players to ply their craft. We're headed to Citi Field to we're going to Citi Field to watch the New York Mets play. This is like the first time we've been able to go to a game this year, so we're happy to be able to go. A really good friend of mine blessed us with the tickets tonight, so shout out to him. But yeah, back to the subject. Dr. Mike insinuating that it is a good idea to take an entire month off from training. Right? That city driving would drive me insane. Yeah, like, dude. We just had a person with a walking impediment basically just cross against the light. And it's like, why are you doing that? You're the last person in the world.
And then looked at us like we were crazy.
Yeah,
because we were trying to drive when we had the green.
Yeah, and it's like, you stop it. Like, really, stop it. So yes, when I first saw the thumbnail to the lecture, and again, the link to that original video is in the description, to insinuate that we should take an entire month off from training just seems ridiculously counterintuitive. I mean, what the hell? It's like I want to make sure that I get my navigation options right, because I do not want to go through any kind of tunnels. Yeah, we're gonna avoid tolls. Yeah, so I know that some of you that don't, he said, I'm doing it right now, I'll let you know how it goes. Oh my God. Oh wow, they're blocking off.
But this is what I was telling you.
Yeah, but it looks like a near permanent block off, because
I always take
oh my God,
54th now by default, because when I'm driving at 5, everyone's getting out of work.
Yeah.
And taking that right-hand turn is...
Yeah, it's hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I know that a lot of people don't like Donald Trump for whatever reason, but as a New Yorker that lives in Manhattan, we have special reasons to dislike him. The rerouting of traffic.
Yeah, just 54th Street.
Yeah. Next time I'll just
I don't even try there anymore.
Yeah. You cannot drive past 56th Street heading east anymore. Anyway, so it was kind of funny, because if you look in the comment section of Dr. Mike's video, there were a lot of guys joking like, yeah, I'm currently doing that right now. And I've been doing it for many months in a row. So maybe I'm getting all of these benefits. But basically in the lecture, Dr. Mike was saying that I guess he was saying the principle is that you take one step backwards to take 3 or 4 or 5 steps forward. Now, for those who know, it's busy out here. For those in the know, taking deload weeks are important, and for those who've been following this channel for a while, you'll probably see that I've had some struggles because I thought that I was going to get ahead by working harder for longer, and that's not always going to be the case. You especially when you're trying to find the bleeding edge of what your body can recover from. You know, the bleeding edge of the stress that your body can recover from. Putting off rest is not always going to be a good thing. Usually it's not going to be a good thing for your goals. And so for as hard as I train, I really should be taking 1 rest week for every 7 that I work. So pretty much every 8 weeks, I know that I'm supposed to take some rest, right? But here's the thing. If I went really hard for 7 weeks, and then I decided that I will just take the whole week and do absolutely nothing, right? Which is every person's dream, right? You get to that 1 week off, you're working really hard, you get that week off, like you're on vacation from work. And you're like, wow, I'm going to feel so good. But there are some people out there that get that vacation week off from work and you're like, I can't not be productive at all. Let me do all the housework that I've been neglecting, you know, since I've been, you know, putting all of my attention so that my boss can buy a 3rd mansion and a 14th Lamborghini. So, you know, for some of us, doing absolutely nothing is not really what we want, because for some of us, like myself, the delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, can really come in and wreak havoc. So the delayed onset muscle soreness usually is the worst when you had a period of inactivity, and it can be pretty debilitating. And it's not just debilitating because of the pain. The pain does suck, I will tell you that. But the stiffness, the inability to move freely, can really be a problem. Oh wait, they don't have the light, so that's when they cross. That's great. Good God Almighty. So, I think I'm just going to take the route that I feel like taking.
Take the route you need to take.
Yeah.
You know how to get there.
Yeah. So, and it's crazy that you have that faith in me, because you are the family compass.
Happy driven to City Field so many times.
Yeah.
You know how to get there.
But it's nice to get that vote of confidence from you.
Yeah.
So let's see what TIJ has to say.
Hold on. I'm on comment duty. My bad. I'm slacking on my job. Oh, he says that's also why I can't do driving streams and just be yelling.
Oh, yeah.
That would make for the best driving streams.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, for real.
You absolutely need to do one.
Agreed.
That would be hilarious.
Agreed. So yes, the deload week I cherish, but the thing is, I use a deload week and not a rest week because I've noticed that whenever I try to just take the week off, my body does not respond well when I go back to training. My body feels like garbage. Usually during the training, and my body feels like garbage for days after. It's debilitating. The muscles really stiffen up pretty bad, and it just doesn't really feel very good for me.
It's also hard to get restarted with taking too much time off.
Excellent.
For me, it's very easy, and not just for me, I think for most. As soon as you get off the routine or the good momentum that you have, it's very easy just to continue to not do it. Oh, this 1 week break is going to turn into a 1 month break, and my 1 month break, holy shit, I haven't done anything for 6 months, which is part of the reason why I'm signed up for a marathon every 6 months, because it forces me to train for something.
Right. And that's a really good point. That was actually going to be like the next point I was going to make, is that when you are able to rationalize reasons why you should not train, even if they are science-based, even if it makes total sense for some of us, 1 week can very easily turn into 9 days, which turns into 2 weeks, which turns into 4 weeks, which turns into 2 months. And then you know you're not eating for training, you know that you're not resting for training, you know that the heavy DOMS is going to come, right? You know that debilitating stiffness and pain is going to make you miserable, and you can feel it, and it's like, you know what, especially a person like myself who would look good aesthetically whether I trained or not. Obviously I wouldn't be this big, I wouldn't have this much muscle, but aesthetically I would still look like very good for the average person. So it's very easy to rationalize not doing the work, especially when you don't really pay a visual penalty for many weeks after. You can notice yourself getting a little smaller, but like, I'm still swole, I still look good in the shirt, I still, you know, women still look at me and stuff like that. So it's very easy to rationalize continuing to not train. So for myself, I know that if I don't hold myself to that standard of training, it will be very easy to get out of practice and to stay out of practice. And that's not really what we want. That's not what I want. So to hear Dr. Mike say 4.5 weeks, a complete calendar month off from training, it sounds like heresy. It sounds like blasphemy. We do our lap prayers and we offer them up to the God of gains, and then we disrespect by not training for a whole month. It sounds crazy. But then I listened to what Dr. Mike had to say, and then I talked to Ms. Evo and found out what she had to say. And what Dr. Mike had to say, in not so many words, is that there's a lot of underlying damage around your GTO, or your Golgi tendon organ, that is at the base of the muscle belly, near where your tendons are. There's a lot of damage in that area. There's a lot of damage in the tendon area, and it's not like major, destructive damage. It's little pockets of damage all over. And what an asshole. Weaving in and out of traffic so you could get home 0.000 seconds earlier than before. Possibly getting home much later because you caused a major accident. So annoying. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can hear, but I use my turn signal for everything. So what he was saying is there's so much damage near the connective tissue and in your joints that you don't really fully realize. You're gonna feel some shit that feels like shit, but you're not really going to feel the brunt or the full, you're not really going to understand the full breadth of that is being done near the connective and at the connective tissue when you've been training for weeks and weeks and weeks. And even if you do the deload week, there's still, you think that you've gotten at or close to full recovery, but you really haven't. And so what he was saying is, especially, if you have pain in your joints or near your joints, week off, you'll actually start to feel worse. You'll feel better the first week, you'll start to feel worse the second week, and then you get a little bit better in the third week, then you start to feel super good in the fourth week, and then you'll feel like Superman when you go back to training again. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but it still doesn't really seem right to me that you can go a whole month. And some of us psychologically cannot really absorb a whole month without training like that. Like, it sounds blasphemous. So I talked to Mrs. Evil about it, and I thought that you had some pretty interesting things to say from the perspective of an endurance athlete. Now, of course, I do the hypertrophy thing, right? You do a little bit of that kind of training, not like I do.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So you don't need to take a month off from lifting.
No.
Not you, okay? Not at you. Okay. But you were talking to me about how that principle aligns for endurance athletes.
Yeah. So one of my questions, I did not see the video from Dr. Mike yet. I will watch it after this recording or after we do this live stream, maybe tomorrow. But my question to Dr. Evil was, what does he mean by, how are we defining training? What does he mean by not training? So for me, during my marathon training cycle, I run about 2 to 3 marathons per year, depending on schedule and money and travel. So I might be running year-round, but I am not training year-round. The 16 to 20 weeks before a scheduled marathon, I consider that my training block, but it doesn't mean I'm not running 30 weeks before the marathon. So we
By the way, wave to the people so they know who's
hi,
talking.
yes, it's a little voice in the background.
Yeah.
We're on vertical, so you can't really see me. Okay, hi.
There you go.
So as runners, what we do is before you start a marathon, or really any sort of running, it's good to have a good base. We'll say you need to have good base mileage. Where you running consistently, the number of miles kind of really doesn't match. It's going to be relative to, your level of training, where you are in your running cycle, in your running lifetime. So a good base mileage is needed first,
Check out, answer this question.
and then Mike talking about endurance. Oh, shit, burn. Yeah, his question is Mike talking about endurance. I thought he was all about hypertrophy.
So I'm going to reiterate, we did cover that. What Dr. Mike had to say, obviously everything that Dr. Mike is talking about is going to be exclusively for in the context of hypertrophy. However, when I brought this topic up to Mrs. Evil, she is an endurance athlete and an endurance coach herself. She said that his admonition has application even for endurance athletes. Mm-hmm. Continue.
Oh yeah, so you have your base mileage, which is just making sure that you are already running and somewhat fit in order to do your training. You have to train for your training. Are you fit enough to handle the what is needed in order to train for a marathon? So those are your base miles,
right?
And also just to be fit in life. So I don't consider that the training cycle.
Right.
I consider that like I'm just going out for a run. I'm doing what feels good today. The purpose is not to tire myself out or be sore or hate what I'm doing. Oh, I really shouldn't hate it anyway. But you get the point.
Right.
I don't consider that training. So that's why I asked you the question. Did he define training? What does it mean to not train for a month? Does it mean you're doing no exercise whatsoever for those 30 days?
Right.
You're not lifting anything, you're not nothing?
Right.
Or does it mean that whatever your training goals are or your training cycle is set up for, you're just not doing that for the month? So I'm not doing speed runs, I'm not doing long runs. Maybe I am, but not for a specific goal. So it really all depends. I didn't want to go, oh, you don't train for a month, then that's a bad thing. I think it's more nuanced than that, and we have to define what training is.
Right. And that was actually, it's funny that you asked that question, because when you asked me that question, I had already commented on that live, on his lecture, and I commented the same thing. Does this also apply to, can we do 4 weeks of deload and have that count as the 4 weeks off from training? Because as I've already explained, for myself, it is way too difficult for me to feel good about taking even one whole week off from training. I have to do it deload style, right? I can't just not do anything for my mental health, but also for the fact that DOMS affects me pretty badly. I have a really tough time going from nothing to ramping back up again, and it makes me not want to train at all if I'm facing heavy DOMS. What did Byrne say?
He just replied right.
Yeah. So I asked the same question, because then I'm thinking, well, if I do 4 weeks of deload, because what Dr. Mike was saying is you should take either August, where a lot of people are not working as hard, especially in Europe, or the month of January, where you have a lot of the New Year's resolution people. The New Year's resolution people will clog up the gym in January. So, when you come out of the end of December, you could just skip all of the people that are there for New Year's resolutions and then go back and train in February, because 95% of those people that came there for New Year's resolutions will be gone by then. So, one of the main questions that I have is, should I avoid training at all? Can I still get the same psychological and physical benefits from doing 4 weeks instead of 4 weeks of nothing. Now, I know that, especially like right now, people who have been following this series, Genius Take the Wheel. I do this series every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Today is a bonus episode. We're headed to see the field to watch the New York Mets at home take on the Atlanta Braves in Game 2 of a 4-game set. Mets won in extra innings last night, 3-2. We are 1/2 a game behind the Atlanta Braves in the standings. So we're headed to the ballpark. Shout out to my guy Tony D, who supplied me with the tickets for tonight's game. Okay. So when I spoke to Mrs. Evil about this, because I remember one of the first thoughts that came to my head when I was listening to Dr. Mike's lecture is that it reminded me of what I've been telling my viewers over the last 2 weeks or so, that I've been having a lot of trouble psychologically staying the course. Every day that I get up at 5:30 in the morning to get to the gym to destroy my legs, stupid early in the morning, every day I get up, the inner debate that I have with myself on whether I should skip this day, it just feels like I've just become percentages more likely each and every time I make it. I feel like the next time I have that debate, I'm more likely to rationalize not showing up. But then there's some mind fuck that I engage in that gets me to get up, mix up my pre-workout, consume the pre-workout, grab my water with the electrolytes in it, put on my SBD knee sleeves, get out of the house, get into the car, and get to the gym.
I could probably purchase that next week. Now that you say that,
yeah.
Knee sleeves.
Oh yeah, they got some really cool looking knee sleeves too that they just released. Oh man, they look really cool.
Yeah, payday's next week, so
yeah.
I think we could do that.
Because I was also telling her she should get some SBDs as well. Because the thing is, if I didn't have those knee sleeves, I would not have made it up to 495 press, and I made it up to 495, 5 sets of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I've gone from trying to boost my strength on the leg press to trying to stay in hypertrophic ranges.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working in 6 to 12, and I'm not going up by like 40 and 50 pounds by the time I hit the top number. I'm only going up like 20 or 30 pounds at a time.
We got a comment from Burn.
Yeah, what do you have to say?
His first comment, he said, yeah, that's fatigue.
Yeah.
We were talking about it's hard to get up
Yeah.
In the morning. And his comments after says, I have to watch this episode before commenting though.
Yeah, hold on. We're in this underpass, so I want to hear what you have to say. Say that one more time.
His second comment was, I have to watch this episode before commenting.
Right. So
yeah, that's why I just gave like that brief comment, Burn, about not training, because I also have to watch this episode, and I don't want to say no, I disagree or agree with him, because I need a little more context or, definition of training from Dr. Mike.
Right. And again, Dr. Mike was saying this does not really pertain to the guys who are training twice a week, 3 times a week. We're talking about guys that are running themselves into the ground, chasing their limits. I'm one of the guys that I'm definitely running myself into the ground, chasing my limits, 100%. For for those who may be visiting this channel for the first time, I train on average 10 times a week. So I train every single day, and I do two-a-days on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays for the most part. Now there are some weeks that I may only train 9 times because on the leg day I might be so fatigued that I really just can't get my upper body work done for that day. So I may slide that upper body work one day forward. I may slide my schedule one day forward. There are some times where I have done a two-a-day the previous day, and I'm just so spent that I have to just take a full day off to do nothing. Now I can also tell you that before my last deload week, which was a little bit more than 2 weeks ago, I had only taken 4 off days in a 9-week span. And I documented the penalties that I paid for not really giving my legs, in particular, any real time to recover. And so I developed some pretty, I would probably call it moderate patella tendon irritation in the left leg. And it was like one of those stingy, itching pains that if you're not careful, can turn into something, pretty bad over time. And so I took a deload week, and because of the way that my schedule was set up, I thought that I would actually get 8 or 9 days off from hardcore leg training, but I still showed up to the gym and put in half the normal intensity. So instead of doing 4 working sets, I'll only do 2 or 3 in a lot of occasions. And instead of doing 10 to 12 reps, I would probably keep it to 5 or 6 reps per set. So half the weight, half the reps, half the sets, to the point where you get to the gym and you're doing the thing and it feels like you're only going through the motions and you kind of feel like you're wasting your time. But then I also understand that if I don't show up at all, the DOMS is going to get to be really, really bad, and I'm going to wish I did that deload. I'm going to wish I didn't just shirk that responsibility off and actually do the damn thing, right? So I definitely, when that neurologically, my brain, mentally, I didn't want to hit for 5 months and I'm going to lose all of these gains. And I just did not want to put myself in that position, which is why I'm doing this special live stream today. We could be on the way to the ballpark right now listening to Death Clock, but
Gotta be on the way home.
We figured that we could do that on the way home.
Yeah. When I am really deep in my running training, I do maybe about 4 days a week. But I might I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Fridays, and maybe days might get shuffled around. Tuesday, Sunday, I don't run at all. And when I have that Sunday off, because I'm working and I'm just exhausted because it's the end of my work week, sometimes I have to remind myself that I did do a good number of miles the prior week. Like that 1 or 2 days off, or even if I have to take an extra day off, and then when I go to run again, I'm like, oh my God, all my training is over. I'm not going to be able to run a marathon. I missed too many days. I probably missed 1 day. And then I have to go back into my running app and remind myself what I did last week. I'm like, oh, no, I did fine.
Right.
The 1 day is not going to hurt me. It's probably going to help me.
Right.
So, yeah, I have those panic moments.
Yeah, and the thing is, again, I try to explain to people that 95% of people do not train regularly. So if you are in a group and there are 20 people in the group, you can safely bet that only one, maybe two people at the max actually train on a regular basis, right? So when you take that 1 out of 20 and you just focus on the 5%, and then you start looking at the mental makeup of just the people in that, you take the mental makeup of those people who are just in that 5%, and you start kind of divvying up that pie, right? Only 1 in 5 of those people really love training. So we're talking about the 1 in 20, or the 5 out of 100 that train every single day. Any given 100 people, 5 of them train seriously. But I can tell you that 4 out of those 5 of the 100 don't really love it. Right? There's only 1 out of 5 hardcore people that are like, oh my God, I flick my bean or choke my chicken to the thought of picking things up and putting them down. Okay? So I'm definitely part of the 4 out of 5.
Burn said, yeah, agreed. It takes a special force type of person.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a value to doing the training when you don't want to do it. There's a lot of value in that from a character progression perspective. But only 1 out of 100 is like really like, oh, scissor me timbers. You know, when they think about training. The rest of us are like, listen, we've got egos to satisfy. We've got, people on dating apps that we want to swipe right instead of left. We have to work hard for it. A doctor told me if I don't do this, I'm going to die at age 42. There's usually something else compelling us that kind of keeps us on that schedule.
Burn said, no pain, no gain. Hit it.
Right. And, I do talk about good pain versus bad pain. Maybe I'll cover that in tomorrow's live stream. Tomorrow morning's live stream, which will be episode 131.
I think that would be a good one. That's something I've had to learn, am still learning. What is the pain that says you should stop because you're going to be injured? And the pain that says you're doing hard work, don't give up. Right.
Yeah, I'll cover that tomorrow. If you can kind of like send me a text to kind of remind me, and I'll have that as one of the main themes for tomorrow's stream. Mm-hmm. So I know that I'm one of the 4 out of 5 that trains like a madman, but really doesn't love it. Okay? Now, see if I gotta ask, are you the 1 out of 5 or are you the 4 out of 5?
I can answer that instantly. I'm in that 4.
Right, so...
And there are some months I'm not in the 4.
Right. You're in the 95 out of 100 is not training at all.
So, sometimes in between marathons, if I don't have one signed up, I might take a month off. Because also for me, sometimes I just need the mental break in between races.
Right.
Where I'm just not having to worry about, am I eating enough carbs? Am I having enough oatmeal? I'm tired of eating fucking oatmeal sometimes.
Right.
But then at the end of that month, I begin to miss it. And then I creep back into the 4 out of 5. Because there's something about the structure of training for events that I actually do really love and I miss if I take too much time off. So I do need some time off from it. But too much time, I miss the structure of what am I going to eat for breakfast, planning out my day, planning out my week. You get some enjoyment out of that.
funny. Dr. Mike said exactly what you said. And he was talking about the psychological benefits that you would get from taking that time. He talked exactly about that. That thought of, oh my God, I can't wait to stop training, stop doing this, stop doing that, and then the progression of 1 week into the rest, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks into that rest period, where once you get to like week 4, he said basically when you get to week 3, you're like, you know what, kind of want to get back to training again. And then by week 4, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking kill somebody if I don't get back in the gym, right?
Yep.
So if temporarily you become that 1 out of 5 out of 100.
Temporarily.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that moment of I need it. Burn said, basically the pain I'm thinking about here is the laziness, the desire to feel comfy, gotta stomp it, and feel like you must continue mentally.
Yeah, that's because I was going to talk about it from purely a physiological perspective, but that actually makes a shit ton of sense, actually. Do you mind doing the tap thing for the parking? Because if I do it, it'll end the stream.
No, that's fine. I'll take care of it.
Okay. I was supposed to pay for the parking for this, but if I do it, it'll end the stream.
Okay.
The MLB Ballpark app turns off your music, cuts your live stream, anything that you're doing. I don't understand why the Ballpark app needs to have all those permissions to shut off.
Wait, how are you going to show the tickets then? You're going to have to end the stream.
Well, I mean, when we're actually done, then when we enter the ballpark,
okay.
I'll then
We're about to enter.
Yeah, because I figured that we can answer questions, kind of close things out, but we're like really close to the ballpark at this point. But we haven't really covered.
Oh, because we're not showing the ticket the way we normally do.
But we're gonna like park the car, and then end the stream, and then do our thing. Yeah.
Got it.
So I think Burn actually comes up with a really good thought process here that I really like. We got the Cybertruck pulling up next to us. And he looks really happy. The Cybertruck is just awful to look at.
It's such a hideous car.
But the thing is, the dude is like driving slowly, and you can tell he's looking around to see who's looking at him.
He's a Rossman.
Oh, you came over from Louis Rossman. Oh, wow.
Good evening, y'all. P.S. New sub from Rossman. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's really cool because Rossman just roasted me on his channel a couple weeks ago. I kind of sort of deserved it. I do appreciate that, Burn. But yeah, I don't know if you can if you could just kind of do a screenshot right there, because I do want to kind of talk about what he's talking about here.
Spirits.
I do kind of want to talk about what he just said there. You took the screenshot?
Yeah.
Because I do want to review what he said, because I wasn't thinking about the whole no pain, no gain from the psychological perspective. I was thinking about it purely from a physiological perspective, and I wanted to explain the difference between good pain and bad pain. But the psychological, not only does it the psychological need a segment of its own, but a lot of times the psychological position that you're in informs in how good or bad you will feel physically, and that's important too.
So said, to me, no pain, no gain always was something like a child asking the parents if they get to stop doing the chores sort of feeling, getting told you can go play once you're done. Right.
And the thing is, being told to do a chore, depending on what it is and if your parents are abusive or not, being told to do a chore is not necessarily going to be very taxing or painful, but the pain is in I'm doing something I don't want to do, or I am being tasked with doing something that I may be neutral about or don't want to do, and it's taking away from me doing something that I do want to do. So yeah, all of these things are I think all of these things do need to be addressed, and I will address the psychological side of good pain and bad pain as part of tomorrow's stream, or I may develop something that the psychological good and bad pain from training. I may try to develop that for Tuesday morning's live stream. And we've got Kratos in the building.
Howdy,
How
sir.
are you doing, Kratos?
I'll just go.
Wow, you're really thirsty. Why are you so thirsty, guy? Good God. Yeah, so, yeah, I think,
He's making the cab move.
yeah.
Cab's not allowed to go.
Yeah, I just think that it's really interesting, guys. Just kind of give us a moment. I am going to try to put us in a good parking position. All right, we're gonna take her thing.
Hi there.
You got prepaid or you can pay?
Where we're gonna pay here.
We're gonna pick it.
Alright, it's a 40 card on.
Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't raise the rates from last year.
No. From Monday to Thursday is 20.
Oh, because it was 40 even prepaid last year when I had season tickets. So I'm surprised they didn't raise the parking fee this year.
Oh.
Thank you.
I was like, they're probably going to charge $50 this year. Nope, they didn't. Thank you so much. Yeah, so, and we got here early enough where we can, I'm just going to go all the way around. I was wondering what that sound was. It was the stuff in the trunk. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to cover, the psychological side.
Yeah, Kratos Met game. I just noticed his comment. He goes, training going well or leaving a Mets game? Just arriving to the Mets game.
Yeah, it's a night game.
Hence the
bonus content here.
live stream.
Yeah, normally I do this live stream on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And for today, we are doing this on a Friday on the way to the ballpark. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot more in the future about we're going to talk a little bit more in the future about the,
Just parking.
yeah, I'm just parking the car, y'all.
You know?
We're going to talk more about the difference between good pain and bad pain. And I'm going to do that for tomorrow morning's live stream on the physical side of things. So that'll be a part one. And then the psychological good and bad pain, because we've learned that the whole no pain, no gain is usually harmful. You see the chick in the orange shirt? Walking across? Look at that shape.
Why is she not dying in those jeans? I mean, shape is great, yes, but
Yeah.
like sweating looking at her.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's being worn very, very well to the optical eye.
It's too hot.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that actually, Burn, I'm going to give you some credit on that especially the part two of that little two-part series that I plan to do. And so what we've been doing is she has been taking the most valuable parts of some of my driving, my Genius Take the Wheel live streams, and she has been turning them into videos for the Talking Shit podcast. So it'll be very, very nice to see like what clips of value she's able to glean from that, and people seem to like them. So I'm going to keep trying to put some useful stuff in the live stream. It is very, very nice. Right now I'm going to kind of show you guys where we're sitting, while we're in the car. I am sitting in the parking lot here, and that is Citi Field. So I'm trying to park near the exit so that when we do come out, we don't have to spend an entire hour trying to get out of the ballpark.
Burn said, cool, I was going to start randomly listening to all those Take the Wheel videos.
But yeah, well, the only ones that are valuable are probably in the last few. No, that's not true. But yeah, I really do talk about a lot of my struggles, coming out of the gym. In fact, now that I've done this bonus episode, I probably should have done the autopsy for today's training.
Oh.
I probably should have started with that like I normally do. So let me give you guys a quick autopsy of today's training. Today was a chest day, a very important chest day, but I can tell you that I was not mentally strong today. So I had to cut out half of my working sets for the incline Smith machine press on the work side, and then I had to cut out half on the volume side. But I did make up a little bit for it by going up in weight on the volume side. So my assignment today was to start with the barbell bench press. I warmed up with the bar 15, then at 95 pounds, 12 warm up, then at 155 pounds, 6 reps warm up, and then I was responsible for 4 sets of 10 at 205 pounds. And no, actually, I was responsible for 4 sets of 9 at 205 pounds. And what I did was I tried to go as hard as I could on set 1, and I actually got to 10 reps. So since I pushed it up to 10 reps on set 1, then I created the mile rep caveat where I would try to get the 10 reps on the next 3 ensuing sets. And if I just wasn't able to get to 10 all the way through, then I would rack the weight, take a 5-second rest, just 5 seconds. It's not a real rest. It's just kind of allowing me to get a little bit more ATP so that I can physically overcome the weight to get that next rep. So I can still get the benefit of a set of 10 without it really being a full clean set of 10. But I still get the physical benefit of it. So I was able, my assignment was 9 reps, but I hit 10. So I amended the assignment from 9 to 10 on the ensuing sets. I hit 9 straight on set 2, but I had to rack it after that. So I took the 5 seconds rest, then I did the 1, so it was 9 plus 1. On set 3, I did another 9 plus 1 successfully. And then on set 4, I did an 8 plus 2. So I did get 40 total reps at 205 today for the first time in my life, which is a really, really big thing, right? And
You said the last great stretch. Ow.
oh yeah, and like I was really physically stretching it. I talked to you guys about the length and contraction just like Dr. Mike does. So actually, Burn, you might become one of my favorite people just off the strength of the fact that you know both Mike Israetel and Louis Rossman. So
It's a great combo.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're definitely part of my tribe. But yeah, I just that was really cool to get 40 reps at 205 today. And what I'm doing is I'm marching my way to 4 sets of 12. I'm working my way to 4 sets of 12 at 205 before I go up to 4 sets of 6 at 225. So I want to let people know the most I've ever done at 225 was 2 reps in my life.
Yeah.
And when I get through this, going from 10 reps per set to 12, I'll be able to work for sets of 6 and then work my way up. Now, my 1RM lifetime on the bench press is 245. So if I can move 205 40 times, my 1RM is above.
Yeah, it's higher now.
So imagine me being the strongest with my history of cervical spine and shoulder issues. I'm over age 40 and I'm working my way towards a 315 bench. Imagine that. And the thing is, I have Dr. Mike to thank for a lot of that. Joni Shreve, Eric Janicki, to a much lesser extent, Greg Doucette, thank you. Because I didn't learn a lot of the concepts from him, but then he reaffirmed those other concepts. Because Greg Doucette is not really a popular guy in these YouTube streets. Like, people don't really like him very much, but his science is still on point, even though he's just trying to sell his supplements way too much, And I know that, like, he shames people for shaming him for selling the supplements too much, but let's just be real. He does way too much of the selling stuff, and it makes watching the videos unenjoyable, but his information's good, right? So I'm constantly being told that my information is correct. And so it is a really good feeling, right? And so, going years without ever touching 200 pounds on the bench, and now, over age 40, I'm working my way to a 315 bench. That's insane, right? I'm going to probably get over my lifetime high on the squat was a poorly executed 275, right? My lifetime high in the deadlift was 425 or 435, right? Something like that, right? I'm going to hit a 100. I'm going to hit a 1,000 pound total after age 40. That's insane.
Kratos asks, who are the Mets?
The Mets are playing the Atlanta Braves, who the Mets defeated in 10 innings last night, 3-2. The Mets are 0.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves in the standings. And if the Mets should win tonight, which they probably won't, because Kodai Senga is making his season debut after having some pretty serious problems with his shoulder. I don't think that he goes deep in the game. I think it becomes a bullpen game, and I'm just not sure that the Mets offense has really cooled off. And really, the only two guys that are really hitting like that would be Iglesias and Lindor. So, a lot of other guys that were hot, they kind of cooled off a little bit. So I'm not really that confident in the offense right now. But we shall see. We shall definitely see what happens, because the Mets have had a pretty good run of good luck as well. So we're gonna enjoy the evening. They got fireworks at the end of tonight's game as well, which I'm not as enthusiastic about, but I know she is, right?
I am.
So we're going to do that. We're not going to rush out of the ballpark. And so Kratos says Doc versus JD MLB edition. Kratos, you actually missed one of the earlier renditions of Genius Take the Wheel, where it was me driving to the ballpark with JD. I brought JD to a game here at Citi Field. When the Atlanta Braves were coming into the ballpark. And so we had the first laugh and the Braves had the last laugh. So I actually brought JD to 2 games when the Braves were here, when I had season tickets. We've definitely done this before. I have not gloated at all with JD. I probably should gloat a little bit, but that's not really my style. I'm not really a gloat guy. My Mets have not won anything since I was 3 years old. Look at these gray hairs. Okay, look at these gray hairs. They go all the way up here, right? So I really don't have a whole lot that I can just talk shit about. So I'm not gonna.
Wrong channel for that anyway. Gotta talk shit on the
Not any channel I'm on is always for talking shit. It's just that when it comes to the Knicks or the Mets, and to a lesser extent the New York Rangers, I really can't say a whole lot because my teams don't win. So yeah, shout out to Mike Israetel. I do respect him a lot and in his scientific mind, and it was nice to be able to kind of talk about, whether or not, we should think about really taking a whole month off of training if you're a madman. So yeah, I did the flat bench. Then I went to the incline. Instead of doing the 4 sets of 8 that I wanted to do, I did 2 sets of 7 at 195 on the Smith machine incline. And then instead of doing...
I turned mine off so I could conserve my battery.
Yeah. And so then after I did the work at 195 on the Smith machine, I then did 2 sets of 10 at 155 instead of 4 sets of 10 at 145. So I did cut my incline stuff in half, but I did do a good job of, like, if I wasn't going to do all the work because I didn't have the time on one thing, I upped the weight. So I felt pretty good about that. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting bigger. Yesterday was my first time doing the hammer curl at the super drop set with the lead dumbbells being 55 pounds each. So I'm working really hard to get bigger arms, bigger chest, bigger legs. I'm working hard so you guys can see that it is worth doing the most work that you can. But I might have to really seriously consider taking Dr. Mike's advice, but I don't know if I can just go a full month doing nothing. I just don't know if I can do that at this point in my life. In the past, I would have loved to just sit around and do nothing, but I just can't. This is just not in me at this point in my life. When I know that I'm fighting the clock at age 41, it's just not in me. Burn says I'm gonna watch his lecture, but I'll foresee you should stop if that you're 1%, like you said, and only if you feel empty, basically depressed from fatigue. I suppose, I don't know, I never trained that hard. Yeah, I've been doing that for a while, and I really have been suffering mentally because of it. So yeah, I definitely have been suffering, and I might have to seriously consider it at the end of the year. But I do know that I'm not going to go 9 weeks straight running my body into the ground. I think max 7 weeks straight. I may do a deload every 7 weeks, every 8 weeks, to keep my legs from feeling ultra burned. Because when you really burn your muscle out, it can't recover, and if it's not recovering, it's not getting bigger. So, you have any parting words for our viewers here?
I'm hungry.
And there you have it. Okay.
Take your time for us. See you guys tomorrow. Kratos, see you tomorrow. Kratos
comment just came up. He said, BLT sandwich, Lay's chips are a waste of money. You heard it here first. $5 for 7 3/4 ounce bag. $5 in the toilet. Ouch.
Well, we are at the ballpark today, and
the BLT sandwich flavored Lay's chips.
Oh, ugh.
I thought he got a BLT
with
and Lay's
Yeah, I
chips.
thought that too. That kind of sounds delicious.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us that's a waste of money. But sorry, Kratos. I thought you were sharper than that, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy some ballpark burgers today.
And milkshake and bottles of water. Yeah, we're gonna do the bottles of water today. We may even do some fries because I do need some carbohydrates. I don't even like French fries, but I'm gonna eat them for the carbs.
I am getting very hungry, and I know that I need the carbs for tomorrow.
Right.
So
actually, you were doing a lot of eating last night, but there wasn't a whole lot of calories involved.
Not a lot of calories. Yeah, those were empty calories.
Yeah, those are empty calories. So.
But thank you guys for joining us. Burn. If you are an MMA fan, if you happen to be an MMA fan,
right?
We do. I'm here in the background. We do a live stream every Saturday for UFC. So we will be doing UFC 304. I think tomorrow.
We're doing UFC Ho tomorrow.
So you are more than welcome to join us. Kratos will be there. Some of our other regulars.
He said was. Yeah, so we did give you, I think she gave you a link to the channel, right?
I'll put it one more time.
All right, so she's going to put the link to the channel. Definitely go over to the channel. Subscribe to the Talking Shit podcast. Hit the notification bell for all notifications because the UFC 304 early prelims begin at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
6 Eastern. So we'll be on at 6.
Right. So we will start the countdown at like 5:50 p.m. or 5:55 p.m. We cover all the events. We cover the entire event.
So we'll be up late.
Yeah, even when the main event and the co-main are trash, we just sit there and complain about having to sit there and hope that the fight ends early. Oh, like last weekend.
Yeah. There's usually at least one person in the comments who is excited about the main card.
Yeah, but that was a horrible.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how Verna Janjidova was able to lock in that armbar when she's looking in two directions at the same time.
That was pretty awful. I hope tomorrow doesn't suck.
It won't. It's going to be a really good card either way. Burn says, I don't do notifications because YouTube sometimes forgets to make them work, of course.
Yeah.
But that's why I said you put the notification bell on.
It's 6 o'clock is when it begins.
Yeah, but we're going to be on Eastern for the very first fight, and we will be covering the entire event, so definitely stay tuned for that. You can also ask your fitness questions there. For those of you that don't know that came over from Louis Rossman's channel, I was Louis Rossman's primary personal trainer for about 3 years. And I helped him recover from a torn quadriceps to being able to squat well over 300 pounds and deadlift way over 400 pounds when the doctor said that he would never lift again. So that was me. And so you can always ask your fitness questions during our live streams. You can talk all manners of philosophy and all of that other good stuff, right? He said the little man is buff. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to get back on the grind. I talk to him fairly often. Yeah. All right, we're going to get up out of here. I need to sit in the car. I need to turn on the engine so I can charge my phone a little bit. So thank you so much for being a part of this live stream. I really do appreciate all y'all's. And without further ado,
see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow on TSP. First of all, we'll see you here for episode 131 of Genius Take the Wheel, and then later on in the day, TSP. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Oh, and remember, if you believe yourself to be a strong person, you are absolutely correct. Peace.